U.S. President Donald Trump just announced a 50% tariff on all imported copper. He made the declaration during a cabinet meeting in Washington, though the exact timeline for implementation wasn't initially clear. "We did steel, 50%. We did aluminum, 50%. Lumber just came out. Why not copper?" he said. "We did cars. And now today, we're doing copper." Less than 24 hours after Trump signed the executive order enforcing the 50% tariff on copper imports, the United States had already suffered a staggering economic blow: $4.2 billion in losses. Copper prices on the COMEX exchange surged 13% overnight, hitting a historic high of $5.95 per pound. And that was just the beginning. Canada, America's largest copper supplier, providing over 40% of its refined copper, immediately retaliated. Ottawa froze all export contracts, while major mining companies like Teck Resources and Hudbay Minerals suspended copper shipments to the U.S. market. The Canadian government made a sharp declaration: "We can no longer rely on a trade partner that unilaterally changes the rules." The market panic was immediate. U.S. electronics, construction, and automotive sectors were thrown into a supply crisis unlike anything seen since wartime. Copper, silent but critical, is inside every wire, motor, and circuit board. Overnight, it became the epicenter of a dangerous new trade war. And this time, everyday Americans are feeling the impact, through the cost of their cars, their appliances, and even the homes they live in. So, what happens next when tariffs start tearing apart the foundation of America's manufacturing? Let's break it down right here on Traveling Vibes. And if you want to stay informed on these urgent developments, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Right after Trump invoked Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, declaring copper a strategic metal tied to national security, the 50% copper tariff was set to take effect on August 1st, 2025. This wasn't some minor tweak. It was a crushing blow to one of the most vital links in the U.S. industrial chain. The market response was immediate. Copper prices on U.S. CME futures jumped 13% in one day, reaching between $5.64 and $5.69 per pound. In contrast, prices on the London Metal Exchange, LME, barely moved, even dipping slightly due to fears about declining U.S. demand. This opened up a pricing gap between U.S. and global copper rates that had never existed before, up to 25% higher in the U.S., fueling an arbitrage market and calling into question the logic of the administration's protectionist stance. Canada wasted no time in responding. Ottawa unveiled a decisive plan to reduce reliance on the U.S. and shift copper exports toward Asia and Europe. This wasn't just symbolic. In 2023, more than 52% of Canada's copper exports went directly to the U.S. So this pivot was strategic. Companies like Glencore in Quebec are now reassessing their logistics and targeting new markets. Experts warn that if the price gap between U.S. and global copper persists, the United States could find itself in a position of economic isolation, echoing the devastating effects of 1930s protectionist policies that led to global trade breakdowns. The copper price surge is already straining American industries. Automakers, energy producers, and telecom giants are all facing sharp cost increases, pushing inflation risks even higher. Here's the harsh reality. The U.S. only produces a bit more than half of the refined copper it needs. In 2024 alone, it imported around 810,000 tons, mostly from Canada, Chile, Peru, and Mexico. But with domestic refineries shutting down, including major ones like ASARCO in Arizona, there's no quick fix. The 50% tariff doesn't solve the supply problem. It only deepens it, creating price spikes, bottlenecks, and long-term supply chain instability. So far, the result has been clear. U.S. copper prices soared, global markets held steady, and a deep chasm has opened between America and its former copper partners. Canada struck back with a smart and calculated move. The country controls nearly $9.3 billion in annual copper and refined copper exports, most of which traditionally went to the U.S. Instead of retaliating emotionally, Canada took action. Just days after the White House made its announcement, mining companies like Teck Resources and Hudbay Minerals shifted course. Instead of sending refined copper south to the US, they began exporting raw copper to Asia, especially Japan, South Korea, and China, where it would be refined and then sold globally. This was a turning point. Canada wasn't just rerouting trade, it was dismantling its role as a US-dependent supplier and repositioning itself as a strategic global player. At the same time, Ottawa announced a $1.8 billion CAD infrastructure and investment plan to expand export routes beyond North America. That's a serious commitment. This investment signals an ambition to evolve from simply supplying copper to owning a larger share of the global copper refining and distribution process. And the first major move in this new chapter didn't come from the US. It came from Canada. Within days of the tariff, Canada redrew its trade map. The US, once its dominant buyer, was now sidelined in favor of Asian partners. This wasn't just about economics. It was about protecting sovereignty from unpredictable US trade policy. With the $1.8 billion CAD investment, Canada's copper export network to Asia could multiply in capacity. In contrast, US refineries are now struggling to source enough raw material. The consequence? Higher prices, stalled production, and shrinking market share. And it's American consumers who are already footing the bill, from power utilities to housing and vehicles. Canada has stepped out from America's shadow and into a role as a full-fledged competitor in the global metals market. The United States, which once envisioned industrial self-reliance, now finds itself cut off from a vital supply chain it helped build. To sum it up, Canada responded strategically, not with rage, but with results. From a $9.3 billion trade pivot to restructured flows into Asia and a $1.8 billion expansion plan, Canada has redrawn the lines. And now, it's the US that's left scrambling. The fallout from Trump's copper tariff didn't just play out in government offices, it hit the heart of American business. Each electric vehicle, EV, uses about 80 kilo of copper for its wiring, motors, and circuitry. That means when copper prices soared, EV production costs jumped roughly $90 per car. For companies like Tesla and Ford, this translated into millions in losses and delays in key EV projects across the country. In Ohio and Indiana, small electronics and wiring manufacturers were blindsided. The cost of imported copper wire shot up by 18%, and many companies lost contracts to overseas competitors in Vietnam and Thailand, where prices remain more stable. US utility companies are facing soaring material costs. Many have already filed emergency rate hike requests. The reason? Copper-based transformer cores and conductors have jumped by 22% to 25%. One report from UBS estimated a 0.5 percentage point drop in US GDP this quarter due to industrial disruption, adding up to $4.2 billion in direct business losses, nearly the same figure Canada froze when it suspended shipments. This isn't just a statistic, it's a flashing red warning. The construction sector is paying more for copper insulation. EV production is stalling, and energy prices are creeping upward. All these effects are converging on the American consumer, from higher electricity bills to soaring costs for home repairs and renovations. Ryan Young from the Competitive Enterprise Institute summed it up clearly. Copper tariffs will increase the cost of power transmission and grid maintenance, and consumers will pay the price. Meanwhile, GM admitted to a $1.1 billion loss from earlier tariffs and is bracing for further damage from the copper tax. Telecom, renewable energy, and electronics companies are all being hit. Profit margins are shrinking, investments are stalling, and layoffs may follow if the trend continues. In 2024, the US imported 53% of its copper needs, mostly from Canada and Chile. Yet its refining capacity only covers about 5% of national demand. So this tariff didn't make America more secure. It just made the market more expensive, more volatile, and dangerously uncertain. Businesses are currently surviving off leftover copper inventory. But once those stockpiles run dry, the price pain will become real and unavoidable. Industry reports from the Financial Times and The Week agree. Once legacy inventory is depleted, there's no cushion left. The price spikes will hit directly, and consumers will feel it in their wallets. This story may have started with a metal, but it's now affecting energy, telecom, EV production, and even housing. U.S. businesses are bleeding billions, and everyday Americans are bracing for a rise in the cost of living. This 50% copper tariff could be the trigger that ignites a new wave of raw material inflation, industrial slowdown, and GDP stagnation. When Canada exited the copper trade pipeline, the U.S. didn't just lose a supplier, it lost a seat at the table. EV prices are now climbing by $3,000 to $6,000. The cost to build a new home could rise by $17,000 to $22,000, all because copper costs soared after the tariff. From the power grid to electric charging stations, from light bulbs to home wiring, copper is embedded in everything. And the U.S. decision to isolate itself with a massive tariff has now backfired. Is this the great deal Americans were promised? Or is it a self-inflicted wound from an outdated economic strategy? This $4.2 billion copper shock might just be the beginning of a new global economic chapter, one where the U.S. no longer leads. What do you think about this unfolding trade war? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to hit subscribe to Traveling Vibes for real-time updates on global economic shifts.